Hi, my name is David Hornsey and I run Learn to Race, a training school for race and track day drivers to improve their skills and pace. Recently I've been using my simulator both for myself to learn new tracks and to keep sharp, but also it's available to clients for coaching, track learning and development. The sim uses a Simatec chassis with a Thrustmaster T500 wheelbase, fitted with a Ferrari Challenge wheel that's been modded with a 300mm rim and extended pedals. I'm using Fanatec V3 Club Sport pedals. The simulator is set up in a dedicated building and runs through an Optima GT1080 projector onto a 2.5 meter wide screen. I've recently been running everything in 3D, but the latest NVIDIA drivers don't really like that so much, so I've reverted to 2D with the idea to upgrade to VR in the near future. As a pro driver, coach and racer, I'm looking for the most real-life experience in terms of car handling physics and dynamics. Of all the sims I've tried, I find Assetto Corsa to give the best experience of on and over the limit physics on my hardware. Your mileage may vary. With the newest version of the AC family, Assetto Corsa Competizione, having just been released, how does it stack up against the original? To test this out, we're comparing two laps on the same track in the same car. I've picked Silverstone as it's a track I've done thousands of laps on in sims and in real life, and I've picked the Porsche 911 Cup car. I've picked this car as with less aero than the GT3 cars in ACC, it should highlight tyre and suspension modelling more clearly. The modern Porsche likes a lot of trail braking, diving into and even past the apex on the brake. The front is very light, so braking helps push the tyres into the road, giving grip at the front. Assetto Corsa models this reasonably well. The rear weight bias is evident on corner exits and fairly well on corner entries also. Where AC always struggles a bit is with its ABS implementation and its lateral tyre grip on the front axle. The ABS tends to cause an inherent push on the front axle, making it hard to attack a corner entry and rotate the car on the brakes. In a race ABS in real life, you have the ability to control direction much more accurately than you do in AC. The other issue is that it always feels like the front axle gives up lateral grip slightly too early, resulting in general understeer bias in all the cars. This is only minor though, and generally the cars are a good representation of real-world driving. So now we switch to Assetto Corsa Competizione, and the first thing we notice is just how good the game looks. The new graphics engine is very resource hungry, but it looks great. But how does it drive? Firstly, let's address the issues we have with Assetto Corsa. The ABS implementation is much better here. It allows much finer control of the front axle on corner entry. In the GT3 cars you get a real difference in response as you cycle through the different modes. One thing missing though is the enhanced ABS setting in AC's force feedback settings. Although a canned effect, this does give a good approximation of the feedback you get in a real car when using ABS. Secondly, the front axle has a lot more lateral grip. It responds much better to mid-corner throttle adjustments to control the line. Also, the rear engine bias is very evident. The car responds well to trail braking and has excellent traction. Where Assetto Corsa Competizione struggles is the ability of the car to ride the curbs and its behaviour once the car steps over the limit. The version of the sim I'm using here is 1.01, and at this time the curbs have a very low grip, as you can see from the video. You often need to wait until you're well clear of the gas until you're clear of the curb to avoid losing the grip at the rear. I see comments online this may be being looked into by the developers, so hopefully we'll see this addressed in a future update. The second issue we mentioned was the over the limit feel. In ACC, when the car breaks away, it's sudden and often irrecoverable. It's like the grip suddenly drops at the rear end and often no amount of steering, throttle or brake control will rescue it. You spend a lot of your time driving waiting for it to bite you. I often refer to driving as talking to the car, and instead of having a conversation with the car, you're sometimes talking to a very tired person who snaps at you out of the blue. In this regard, AC is currently better. It's more drivable on the limits and more catchable when you overstep the limit. We're still early in development for ACC, so let's see if this improves with the improvements of the tyre model. I also find the force feedback isn't giving as much info as in AC. The shifting weight of the car doesn't feel quite so defined as the earlier game, but this may come with further tweaking on my part. Generally though, ACC is very good. Not quite up to the driving standards of AC yet, but not far off.